Good morning. Just finished track Tuesday, so it was a hell of a tough session. I'm just going to run through some of the stats from the session here. So total volume was 6.6k. Started off with 2 by 1200 meters, 2 by 800 meters, 2 by 5s, 2 by 4s and 4 by 200 meters. In terms of paces, went out at around 5:20 a mile pace for the 1200 meters with group 2. And then I thought that was a little bit hot, the pace was, so I dropped into group 3. Joined them with the 2 800 meters, so I did around 5:40 pace for the 800 meters, and I increased the pace on the 500 meters and the 400 meters there. Getting down to the last 2 by 200 meters with group 3, I hit them around sub 5 pace, and then I finished off the last 2 by 200 meters with group 2 with the quicker guys. And again, those were under sub 5 pace, but very tough in the heat. Back again on Wednesday, so I'm just heading down for a swim now. Got the morning run done. I'm going to do some intervals in the pool this afternoon before an easy run tonight. So just catch up from yesterday. So good track session in the morning, hit some good paces. Legs were feeling a little bit sore after, so I went for a midday swim. Just did an easy hour in the pool. It's a lovely 50-meter pool. If I can get the technology working, I'll drop a picture of it over this clip. But yeah, just easy hour in there yesterday afternoon, and then we joined the group for an easy 5 mile last night. So that was Tuesday done. On to Wednesday morning. So this morning, just gonna get the stats here, but did an 11.16 mile run at 7:33 average. So the first half of it was low 7-minute miles, so a little bit too quick for an easy run really, especially in the heat. But we just sort of got dragged along with the group a bit. But then the last sort of 4 or 5 miles of that run, dropped it back to more easier pace, and there's a little section on the sand as well, which slowed us down, and we were hitting more like closer to 8-minute miles for the last 3 or 4 miles of that run. So that just helped to get that track session out of the legs. And yeah, looking forward to probably do some intervals in the pool, so some 200s and 100s, bit of swimming, and then tonight I've got an easy sort of 5 or 6 miles. So yeah, checking again probably tomorrow. Checking in again on Thursday now. So this morning we had a tempo session, hit the track again. The session was 14 lots of 1 minute on and off. So I think the aim of the session was supposed to be, we were hitting more like overs and unders for marathon pace, but it actually turned out doing something like a quicker interval, so I was hitting sub 6 mile pace for the 1 minute on, and then the 1 minute off was probably around 7 minutes, just under 7 minutes a mile pace, where realistically it probably should have been about 6:15s and 6:45s, and a bit more steady and consistent throughout to replicate marathon training there for tempo. So that went well this morning. It was about 4.5 miles of volume. I had a couple of miles warm up and half a mile cool down, just a couple of laps of the track. I've given swimming a miss today, so it's been more of a recovery day. Just chilled by the pool, enjoyed the nice weather today as the sun's been out a bit more. I'm just about to hit a 10 mile easy-ish, steady, easy run tonight, so just to up the mileage a bit. I'm gonna get 10 miles in before another barbecue tonight. back again. It's Saturday now. I'm just enjoying my Calippo on the way to the supermarket. I'm gonna get a sandwich. So just a recap of the runs from last time. So last run I did was Thursday evening. Planned to do a 10-mile easy run. Ended up, it was quite warm, so I did an 8-mile run. Bit quicker than easy pace, but still got it done. Yeah, so 8 miles Thursday evening. Then Friday morning we had an easier run down by beachfront with everyone as a group. So that was, I did about 10.5 miles in the morning. Had a relaxing afternoon, didn't do any swimming yesterday on Friday, and then finished it off with, I'll just come again after the traffic's gone. So finished it off with a 6-mile, maybe 10k could have been, easy run in the evening, and it was quite cool then. It was sort of 7-8 o'clock time, just getting dark, and it was quite nice to go out, not in the heat. So then it brought me to Saturday morning, and Saturday morning this morning we had a big session. So the session was, it was a marathon paced, sort of marathon specific workout session, long run. We went over to a trail which was a couple of miles away. We drove over and all set off as a group, but different paces as everyone was doing, different sessions and different speeds of the session. So the session was 5k, 4k, 3k, 2k and 1k, with a 1k float in between. I set off before the session because I wanted a bit more volume. I did 7 miles of the trail, full out and back, just to see what the trail was like and get that extra mileage in. But looking back, it was probably a bit of a bad move. Should have just done the session because it was quite warm after 7 miles. It wasn't really an easy pace, warm up 7 miles. It was like 7:15, 7:20 a mile pace, which particularly in the heat was more steady, getting on for closer to marathon pace than I wanted really. So I set off on the first 5k of the session, hit that around about marathon pace, and then had a little bit of a niggle in my groin, which cropped up a couple of weeks ago at Big Half. So I thought the sensible thing to do was just to rein it back in a bit, finish the miles of the run, but just do the last 10 miles at an easier pace. So I was a bit disappointed at the time I couldn't finish the session, but yeah, these things happen, and just dialed it back, and it was still a good run, like 20 miles in this heat at 7:20ish a mile. I'd have been quite happy with that if I'd have just done it as a steady run. So I'll take the positive from that. Rest up today, and then I've got about 10 miles easy tomorrow, and that should bring it up to 100 miles for the week then, which is the biggest week I've done for quite a while, as I've been around about 65-70 miles a week. So 100, yeah, it would be a good achievement this week. I'll be happy with that, and looking to do similar sort of mileage next week. Right, I'm going to enjoy my Calippo now. I'm nearly at the shops. See you tomorrow. Checking in on Sunday evening, made it through the week. So yeah, massive week. Finished off my 10-mile run today, which made it to 100 miles for the whole week, which is something I was aiming for. I was also pleased that I got within that 100 miles, managed to hit 2 track sessions and 1 sort of marathon pace session that I spoke about yesterday. Yeah, it's been a good week. Also had 2 swims in there, and I got out on the bike a little bit. So yeah, really pleased with that. Other than the groin niggle, everything seems to have held up fine. The plan for next week, going to try and do the same again. So I'm flying back on Friday morning, so I can get maybe a short run in Friday morning, but I'm going to try and load the mileage in the first half of the week, try and get a good 60-70 miles in here before I fly back. And I'm booked in for Robin Hood Half in Nottingham Half on the Sunday when I get back. So that'll be a good chance to test the improved fitness of training out of here. Hopefully I've still got something left in my legs to give 120 a good go on the half. That would be something I've been aiming for the past couple of months really. I tried a big half and got a 123, just wasn't there on the day, but if I can get close to 120 it'll give me good confidence ahead of a sub 250 attempt at Frankfurt Marathon at the end of October. Check in again next week. Checking back in again on Thursday, so I'm on my way to the swimming pool. Actually, second attempt to go to the swimming pool as I left my Euros back at the apartment. So that's 20 minutes, but I won't get back. I'm just going to go for an easy swim this afternoon. So a round up of the training. I'll go from Monday. So the last time I checked in was Sunday evening. We'd just done a 10 mile to round up for 100 miles for last week. So I started this week Monday morning with 11 miles at 7:30 pace. It was quite warm. Found a nice route that was on a couple of the trails that I'd run down before. So it was a bit nicer than just running on the roads. I enjoyed that one Monday morning. I then went for an easy hour swim in the afternoon on Monday, and just generally had a bit of an easier day, as Tuesday was a bit tougher day coming up. So moving on to Tuesday, we did a track session. So the track session, I joined a couple of the guys who were doing Timber 1k, but I adapted it to, I did Timber 600, as I wasn't as quick as them. It sort of gave me a little bit more rest on the intervals. So in terms of paces, I was able to hit around 5:15 to 5:30 pace, sort of dropped off towards the end of the reps. Probably because I haven't been used to doing that sort of volume on the track. Just got a bit slower towards the end, or maybe set off a little bit too quick trying to keep up with the guys. So yeah, moving on to Tuesday evening, went out for it was around about 8 miles at 6:55 pace, so a little bit quicker, but I was in a bit of a rush to get back for tea, so we were out for dinner that evening. So yeah, just a bit quicker than usual, but it still felt fairly comfortable at that pace. Then Wednesday morning, so today, I decided to get a bit of a longer run in. I had planned to do around about 18 to 20 miles, setting off pretty early in the morning, so I set off around 6:20. In the end I got to about 15 miles, thought that was enough for today, so stopped at 15 miles. Nice easy pace running. It was around about 8:20 a mile, so a lot slower than I've been running last week and during my time here, but the legs felt good. I've not got any niggles or anything, and yeah, gonna go and enjoy my hour swim this afternoon. I'll check back in later on. checking back in on Saturday in a surprisingly sunny England. It's still a lot colder than Spain, so hence why I've gone for the wind jacket from the start. So I'm just going to recap where we were on the training. I got up to Thursday, so I just finished up a training camp's worth of training. Thursday morning, I had a brilliant session on the track. So it was only a low volume session of around 4k, but I managed to do 8 400s and 4 200s and hit some paces that I've probably never run before on the track. So I was hitting some 73s mostly on the 400s, and then dropping down on the 200s and really getting my legs going and doing some 34s, which, yeah, it's pretty chuffed with that. It's a good session. We've been down as a group before, so I've been on the bike pacing a few of the other guys doing their session, and they all had a good session too, hitting some good times. So I didn't want to go for a really long session and leave everyone waiting. So wrapped up a nice short 4k session there. That felt great. Thursday evening, went out for a 7 mile easy run, and it was quite easy pace there, going on towards 8-minute miles, which is a lot better than some of the other easier paces I've been hitting this week. So that wraps up Thursday. I was flying home Friday, so we got up early and went for a little run before the flight, just to get the legs turning over, and that was my only run on Friday, so just under 5 miles at 7-minute mile pace. Wait for that lorry to move. Yeah, so chuffed with that one. Got a little leg spinner in before the flight. Made it back home to England on Friday. So today's run, just wrapping up this week. I'm doing a 10 mile, pretty easy pace, over 8-minute miles now. I'm currently about 3 miles in, and then I've got Knots Half tomorrow, so it'll be a good effort. 13 miles there at Knots Half. I'll probably try and hit around 6:10, 6:15 pace. Aiming for a PB, which is 1:23 at the moment. And yeah, looking forward to that tomorrow. I'll check in later. Back again on Sunday afternoon, so I've just done Knots Half this morning. I know I said the target was around about 1:23 to try and get a PB. The course was a little bit tougher than expected, so I was quite pleased with the 1:24 that I did, a little bit outside of PB pace, but I'll take that. It was a good solid run, and the main goal is 5 weeks time is Frankfurt Marathon, so I've had 2 pretty decent halves within about PB pace. I've had a 1:23 and a 1:24 over the past 3 weeks, which will stand me in good stead for Frankfurt in 5 weeks time. So I will be doing a weekly check-in with my training for the last 5 weeks of training for Frankfurt Marathon. So I'll probably get one of these out every week, just going over what I've been doing in training, how I'm feeling, so I can look back at that on my training and beyond for further marathons and further training blocks. Just wanted to wrap up with a few thank yous for the past 2 weeks in Spain. So firstly to all 3 of the guys who organised it really. So Nick Bester at Best Athletics and Sam Harrison, who did a lot of the organising from sort of the people going outside and organising from the group. And then to Joe and Stu Spencer at cctraininspain, who organised all the accommodation, were the owners of the apartments and really looked after us when we were out there. So thanks to those guys, and it's been a great couple of weeks.